Hi, welcome to Friends and Finances. I'm Jenny. I'm your host. And today we're going to be diving into everything about buying a car and financing it.
Absolutely.
Excited about it. So we've got Alex here. She's got over 7 years of finance background and those kind of things. And she's going to give us a bunch of nuggets about nuggets of knowledge to help make it a little bit of an easier process. So thanks for being here.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure being here. Hopefully by the end of this, it's a less anxiety when you go out to make that car purchase and you get to take away something important for that.
It can be very, very anxiety ridden. You have a bunch of people asking you a bunch of different questions and you know,
salesmen, so many options.
And there's one person that's doing the finance, one person that's selling you a car. And sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. So I'm glad you're going to break it down for us.
Absolutely.
Good.
Looking forward to it.
Well, let's jump into it. And let's just say, what's the first thing that you think a person should know on whether or not they want to buy a new car or a used car? How do they decide?
The first thing you really want to know is honestly going to be your budget. You have to go in there already thinking about what you can afford. Not looking at the total car price, so to speak, but more so what your monthly payments are going to look like. Also, other things that you need to include in your budget are going to be the insurance, the maintenance. Different vehicles, different brands. We all know some last longer than others. Some have transmission issues. Some don't have those type of issues until much later on. Thinking about the maintenance matters. Particularly with a used or a new vehicle, when it comes to insurance. You know, a used vehicle, typically your insurance might be a little bit higher. A newer vehicle, you might get a little bit lower there. Your monthly payment and your interest rate is largely going to be determined by whether it's a new or a used vehicle as well. There are other things that factor into that, including your credit. But you have to think about all of those things, not just the price tag on the vehicle. So when you go in, think about your budget, maybe shop around, learn what current interest rates are before you go in there.
Where could you find those?
So easy Google search, of course, but also going into your local bank, your credit union, you can always go in, ask them what the rates are.
Now, the rate's the same for everyone, for every car, or does it change up?
So no, when you go in there, you'll learn very quickly that it's going to matter the year of the vehicle. It's going to matter your credit score. And those type of factors are going to play a part into what the interest rate is. So of course you won't know exactly, but you'll have a range.
Okay.
And with that range, especially if you come into your credit union, you can figure out you can get a projection from your bank person, and they can actually tell you what they think or the estimated monthly payment is going to be. And you can kind of determine from that if that's something you can afford. Then you can start looking at the price tag.
So am I understanding that you think it probably is better to go into your financial institution first, get a general idea before you ever step foot on a car lot?
Absolutely. You want to be as educated as possible before going into the car lot, because the goal is to sell you a car, right? So if you already have in your mind what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you want to be approved for, what you want to pay, then you're less likely to be persuaded or get confused or overwhelmed during the actual buying process.
So then I guess my other question, you get to the dealership, you've gone to your financial institution, they've said, hey, we can offer this rate. You get to the dealership, they give you another rate, and maybe it's better, maybe it's worse. Do you have to use the dealership, or can you use your financial institution, or how's that work?
No, you are the buyer. You can do whichever one you prefer. If you go into that dealership and they do tell you that you can get a better rate somewhere else, then absolutely, you are more than welcome to go that route. If you feel more comfortable with your credit union or your bank, you like the quote, maybe they're doing a promotion. So even though the rate's different, maybe you like the cashback promotion they're doing or anything like that. You are the customer, you are the buyer. At the end of the day, you have final say.
So, but we want to make sure probably that it's the same, because I'm assuming that there's different terms, right? There's different, like one could be a 48-month term, one could be a 60-month term, and you want to make sure that those are the same in that, right?
Exactly. So you'll want to You want to speak with them because the term also plays a factor in your interest rate. The longer stretched out of a loan, the higher risk it is. So you'll see a higher interest rate. So if you're able to shorten that term a little bit, you could possibly get a better interest rate, but you got to keep in mind that it's going to raise your monthly payment.
Gotcha.
And it's so important when you go into a car and go into a car lot to buy a vehicle that you don't just want to get the lowest term to get the lowest interest rate, because you want to make sure that's something you can pay long term.
Right.
So really think about it. Most banks, most financial institutions will allow you to make extra payments. You can apply more to the principal. So just because your long term is 72 months, that doesn't mean you have to keep it for 72 months. You can pay it off earlier. Don't necessarily stretch yourself thin by going to a 36, 48 month loan term just to pay it off quicker.
Right. Gotcha. But if you have a certain age of a car, you might not, would you want to go to 72 months on that?
So, fun fact, you might not be able to. You might, if it's a very, very old vehicle, depending on the value, how much is depreciated, the life of that general model and make of car. Sometimes you can't go past a certain amount of months. A financial institution will maybe tell you 60 months max on that year vehicle.
Okay.
But that is something to think about. Absolutely.
Okay. What's this word, depreciation?
Depreciation. So, unlike
that big word.
Yes, that big word, that big scary word. No, depreciation is exactly what happens as soon as you buy a car. It loses its value.
Okay.
So you're in mortgages. So unlike a home is an asset. You know, the value is supposed to, it depreciates, but it should increase. The value should go up. Hopefully, that's the idea, right? With a car, that never happens. It's going to, the value is always going to go down. I think statistically, when you buy a new car, the first year it depreciates 20 or 30%. So you lose 20 to 30% of what you paid into, what you financed or paid into that loan within the first year.
Man.
So you'll never get the same amount of money back as you would when you purchase the car. So that's what depreciation is.
Well, can you kind of give us an idea quickly of like, what are some major factors to look at when you're going to purchase a vehicle? There are just some major key points that you want to hit.
Some major factors. I would go with doing your research to figure out what kind of vehicle you want. Are you looking for a really reliable long-term car? Are you a commuter? Do you need something that's going to get you places often, far, that don't usually typically have a lot of maintenance issues? This research is very well known. You know what model cars, or you can Google or you can search what model cars usually last longer. You know, everybody gets scared once they get that 100,000 mile mark, right? You know what cars have a longer lifespan past that 100,000 mile mark. So that's something to think about. Are you looking for something reliable?
Right.
So maybe that might determine what dealership you even go to, what car you even decide to purchase. Or are you someone that likes to refinance every 2 years anyway? So you just want a nice luxury car. It's going to get you from point A to point B for a short amount of time. You'll want to go purchase a new vehicle, trade it in anyways, or you don't drive that much anyway. So you're just wanting something just a little bit convenient.
Right.
So those are things to think about before you go in.
Yeah, I remember when I went from one car to the truck when we needed it, but you wouldn't believe how much the difference of the tires cost.
Yes.
You know, so it went from one car, the tires were, you know, very reasonable, to a truck that sometimes the tires are not so reasonable on that. So you'd be surprised on this kind of maintenance.
Even with luxury cars, I tell people all the time, like, you know, you see the nice luxury car, you're like, I can afford the price tag. Think about the maintenance. Can you also afford the maintenance?
That's right.
A good thing about a new car is usually there's more maintenance and warranties available and allotted to those type of vehicles. Just because they're brand new, they don't expect you to have to use them right away. Right. So those warranties and maintenance plans that you can purchase can often be more long-term, maybe for even the life of your loan, as opposed to a used vehicle. You might not get those same type of plans offered to you.
But it's not free.
Yes, not free. You are paying for it.
You're still paying for it.
And some of them are better than others. So do your research with that too. Take time to read those contracts. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because, you know, purchasing a car is a lot of fun, but it can also be very scary and different things
too. Fun to drive around in.
Yeah, for sure. Well, when you go to test drive the cars around and you get real excited about a certain car, and then you find out that you maybe can't afford that car, coming to your financial institution in the beginning would really alleviate that.
Exactly. Like, wouldn't have even got in it.
Wouldn't have even got in it. Would have just walked
like,
away
that's
from
out
it.
of budget.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I think that this was a lot of good information.
Absolutely.
And thanks for being on with us. And you can, where do you go to check out First House auto car interest rates? Yeah.
So typically you'll need to go directly into a branch. You can have a branch phone number that you can call directly, or our call center. I don't think those rates are posted online, but anybody, it is public information. So you can always reach out to anybody at any of our locations to get those rates.
Right. Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for joining us. And it's been a wonderful podcast.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.